Okay, good morning to everyone. So today is 28th of August 2024. Okay, so the month has almost ended. So the month has almost ended. The intraday fundamentals for the day. Let's go through the intraday fundamentals. So let's check 28th of August 2024. So 28th of August 2024. So there was no economic high impact news for the day. We don't have any high impact news for the day. We don't have any high impact news. We don't have any high impact news for the day. So we can, in case maybe we see any setup, we can trade it without even uh, being scared of any high impact news, or yeah, being scared of any high impact news. So let's first of all analyze. So that's our job. That's what we do every day. We do the analysis, then we wait. That's all about trading. You do your analysis and you wait. You do your analysis and you wait. If you get it, you take it or you execute. If you don't get any trade, you go, you come another day. That's all about trading. So sometimes you can go the whole of a week and you will not get a trade. Based on, it depends on the time frames to the it depends on the time frame you trade. Okay, it depends on the time frame you trade. So that's what mostly people can't withstand. Okay, because as I said, I've been saying trading is boring. Sometimes you can, like you will be coming to the market every day, you do your analysis, and you'll not be getting anything to trade. So trading is really, really boring. But you need, if you are not passionate about, if you come in the game because of money and not the love, at the initial point we all come into the game for money. But at a certain point you start to discover that the passion needs to overcome the money. Other than that, you can't be in the game for long. So that's the whole nature about how trading works. Trading is about waiting and what you have to first of all have the passion. You have to have some love for how the game works. Having some joy when you are analyzing and waiting. You have to have some joy for that. Other than that, you can't be doing these things. Okay. Other than that, you can't be doing trading. It's kind of boring. So when you look at the GBP USD on the monthly time frame, so we first of all, the monthly time frame is what? An uptrend. These are the monthly time frame. The reason it's an uptrend. So we have higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. You get it. So this is the point it shifted structure. It shifted structure at the monthly time frame at this point and moved towards an uptrend. So the monthly time frame made higher high at this point, made higher low. So if you're on YouTube, if you can hear me, let me know. Okay. If you can hear me, let me know on YouTube. Type in one if you can hear me well on YouTube. You have higher low. Type in the chat box one if you can hear me, and higher low. Okay. So this is the point. So now the monthly time frame is an uptrend. The monthly time frame is an uptrend. This is the monthly time frame. Okay, so this is the resistance. This is the resistance. So we had a support too over there. So let's move to the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, the weekly time frame too is an uptrend. So we had what? Swing high. We had swing low, swing high. You get it? And swing low. So the monthly time frame too is an uptrend as well. You get it? So the monthly uptrend, weekly uptrend. Okay. So after that, you search for your key levels. So we had a key level over here. We had a key level. So on the monthly time frame, on the weekly time frame rather, we can see we had a breakout. There was a breakout on the weekly time frame at this point. That if supposing, I remember, was it on the weekend webinar that I was saying, if not the stop loss on the weekly time frame, you could have even taken a swing trade to target this end. Okay, because when you look, the weekly time frame has given us some zone that we can trade within. So if you are taking a buy, you could have even taken it at this level. Okay, when the breakout, when there was a breakout, so it has already broken out. So I'm expecting, even though, as I said, I've been saying the market doesn't move linear. Okay, there's some, you experience some pullbacks. So maybe there will be a pullback. Okay, before it will shift, it will move up. But at this point, it's the probability or the chances of it moving up is very high at this end. At this end, the chances of it moving up is very high. You get it? So let's move to the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, on the daily time frame, this is a support area. This is a support area that I'm expecting price to what, to retrace on this level before, because the daily time frame too is what, the trend is up. You don't need indicator for the indicator to tell you the trend is up. The trend is already up. You get it? The trend, it clearly shows you that the trend is what, in an uptrend. You don't need indicator to tell you the trend is an uptrend. So it's already in an uptrend. But so after getting to know, so now you know the daily is what, the daily, the daily pattern structure is what, the daily pattern structure is, the daily pattern structure is an uptrend structure. It's what, an uptrend. So we are experiencing some pullback. Okay, we are seeing some pullback over here on the daily time frame. So it will either pull back to this level. Okay, it will either pull back to this level. Let me do it big for you to see it well. So the daily, there will be a pullback to this end or to this end. Get it? So the next target, in case maybe the market is reversing, let's check the next target. So the next target is either going to be at this level, you get it, or at this level. So that's the level that the markets might retrace to. Okay, it might retrace to this level or this level. It might retrace to this. So now the daily time frame is what? The daily is an uptrend. The daily time frame is an uptrend. So let's move to H4, because on the daily time frame there was no, even though setup has given us an uptrend breakout, the what, the setup has given us a breakout. You're expecting a retest. It is retracing. So there was a retest. So we are expecting what, a retest on these key levels, but there was no entry confirmation on what, the daily time frame. So yes, at these levels too, you will move to the what, the week H4 time frame. So on the H4 time frame, you see how this strong this zone is. This zone is very strong. We have what, support over here. We have support over here. We have support over area. So this zone is very so these are one of my favorite entry setups in case maybe it gives me an opportunity to enter. This is one of the things that when it gives me an entry setup, when it gives me an entry, I'm going to rejoice. So if I see something like this, if the H4 close like this, if I see a bullish candle like this, okay, it's the same thing that happened yesterday. Okay, it's the same thing that happened yesterday, and I'll take the flip to this side. So it's the same thing when we watch yesterday. But yesterday, the reason why I didn't take the trade was because of this resistance. It's the same thing. Okay, it's the same. It broke out, retested trend continuation. The reason why I didn't take this trade is the same thing. So as I've always been saying, you need to know your pattern. If you don't know your pattern, that's when you always what get confused when you come to the market. The patterns repeat. So there are only two things that you are going to do in the market. It's either you are going to take a buy or sell. So what shows that there's not going to be similarities every day. It's the same thing that the market does the same thing every day. You get it? It does the same thing every day. So you just have to master one thing. You get it? Just master one thing and be an owner of a pattern. Because the moment you master a pattern, that's when your confidence level is going to what? Rise. That's when your confidence level is going to increase when you execute a trade. So I'm expecting what? A support to form over here, then I will take a buy. That's what I usually look for. So I don't care what other people are doing. I'm only focusing on my pattern. So it's the same thing that happened yesterday. But yesterday, the issue was what? Because of this support, this resistance. That's why I didn't take advantage of this buy. You get it? There was I don't want to what enter where there was going to be what a resistance. So this is the point I could have taken advantage of. Okay. Sorry, this is the point that distracted me of not taking the buy. This was the resistance. So that's why I didn't take the buy. It's the same thing that is happening. So now what you are going to wait for is what? You are going to wait for a support to fall, then you take what? You take a buy to this end. So if this candle close to this end, you move to the lower time frame. So lower time frame, when you move to the lower time frame, you are going to wait for what? A structure shift. A shift in structure, then you take a buy. Because at this level, the H1 time frame is what? A downtrend. H1 time frame is a downtrend. So the only way you are going to look for a buy is one when the only way you are going to look for a buy is when there was a shift in structure. Okay, you wait for a shift in structure. So now it's in what? A downtrend in the because of this the higher low got broken. Okay, so now it's not a downtrend. So you wait for a shift in structure to be in a line, but to be in the same direction with the higher time frames. So that's how it works. So when you move to H4, there's a support. There's a support to over here. There's another support over here. So this zone is very strong. I'm not saying the market is a probability game, so it can break, but the chances of it breaking is very low. The chances of it breaking is very low. So one thing I'm going to wait for is what? For this candle to safely close on this level, then I'll take a buy. That's what I'm going to look for. So let's move to Euro USD. So GBP USD, we come back and watch it again. So on Euro USD, so the monthly time frame is in all-time high. The monthly time frame is in all-time high. So what you are going to do is what? You identify our various support and resistances. So when you move to the weekly time, so yesterday you were trying to look for a buy on Euro USD, but it didn't happen. It happened around five something, and even the way it happened, there was no entry. There was no entry when it happened. So there was no entry. So when you move to the daily time frame, on the daily time frame, we had a support over here. You get it? On the daily time frame, we had a support over here. So yesterday you were expecting a buy. So even though the buy happened, okay, the buy happened, but the time it happened wasn't the time we usually trade. So you couldn't take advantage of it. So this is the point you were looking for a buy on Euro USD. This is the point you were looking for. This because of this resistance, that's why you didn't take the buy. But around it was around 5, so it was outside our trading session, and we saw a move up. We saw an upward. We saw an upward move towards to this level. We saw an upward move to that level. So on the daily time frame, since this candle is ongoing, so there's going to be a resistance at this level. Okay. So we have a lot of consolidations. There's a lot of consolidation. When you move to, let me move to the daily again. On the daily time frame too, we have a support to over here again. There's a support over here again. So when you move to H4, so you see on the H4 time frame, H4 looks like what? A downtrend. Daily looks an uptrend. Okay. So when you see something like this, you just stay out. For me, when I see something like this, I just stay out. I don't trade the H1 structure. Okay. Even though H1 looks good, but I don't trade H1 structure. I prefer trading the high time frame. So I'm going to wait for the H4 structure to be in line with what the daily structure. Then I'll go in for what do you call it? I'll go in for either buy. So it depends on what the structure is going to do at the end of the day. Okay. Because currently the daily is what's an uptrend. So this is a complex market structure. So this is wave one. So this is wave one. Sorry, this is wave A B C. It has formed A B C when Elliott wave. So I'm expecting a retracement to this end. So the reason why we don't trade retracement is in the sense that with retracement, sometimes it where you are expecting it to retrace on, it doesn't retrace on those levels. That's the disadvantage. That's why we don't recommend trading retracement. You get it? When you are trading retracement, when you are trading retracement, especially corrections, when you are trading corrections, there's no you don't know, most of the times you don't know the levels that the market is going to what to get to, unlike trading an impulse or trading the trend. When you are trading the trend, it gets to the level that you are targeting exactly as compared to corrections. So even though we are expecting it to get to the next level, okay, even though we are expecting it to get to the next level, by the chances of the it has as in the chances of it getting here can't be predicted much. The chances of it getting to the next level is very low. Okay, that's when trading corrections. So corrections are risky. Trading corrections are risky. So I always recommend you wait for a structure to break, then what you make or you take advantage of that. So that's what I'm looking for Euro USD. So let's move to gold. So Euro USD, what I'm expecting is what a shift. There should be in a shift in structure. I have to see something like this. A shift close. Okay. So either it will come here because when it breaks this one, when it breaks this one, either it will come to this target, then what? Retrace, then make what? Either it come to this, it's when it breaks this one, either it will come to this target, then retrace to this level or this level, then it will continue. Or it will break to this level, then what? Rate test, it will either rate test to this level, then what? It will continue up. Okay. Or it will either retest on this level, then it will continue up. Or it will either retest on this strong area, then it will continue up. So that's what I'm expecting on Euro USD today. I'm expecting this. These are the things that I'm expecting on Euro USD because when you look at the intraday fundamentals, there's no high impact news today. Okay, so supposing or if you are getting a trade today, it would have been a good time to. It would have been a good time. So let's move to gold too, for instance. So gold is one pair that is sometimes it will disgrace you. So yesterday, for instance, I was expecting gold to move up. Sorry, I was expecting gold to move down to this level. I was expecting gold to move down to this level to fill this zone. But you see how what gold did? It tried to break this one and it moved up. Because one thing I can see is what the daily time frame is an uptrend. Okay, the daily is an uptrend, but H4 is a downtrend. Okay, H4 is a downtrend. So at this level, what you are going to expect. So the H4 even open with no, it's like it's open with no bottom wick. So usually what you are going to expect when it happens like that, what you are going to expect when it happens like that is you either wait for the wick is not clear. It seems like it's created a wick. It's created there was a liquidity grab, but the wick wasn't other clear like that. Let me check H1 and see. Okay, so the H1 is making the retracement. The H1 is making the retracement. So the daily time frame on gold. So we had a resistance at this level. On gold, we had a resistance at this level. We had a resistance at that level. So the next area that the markets will be heading to is the next level. Okay, so the market moves in levels. Okay, it will move to this zone, to this zone, this zones to this zone. That's how it usually moves. So let's move to when you move to H4 time frame. So with the H4 time frame, we had a what do you call it? We had a support. Sorry, now okay. So since this candle has broken through, if a candle break a support, it tends towards a resistance. So now as it has broken through, it has turned towards a resistance. So since the candle is what beneath this horizontal line, this point is what as a resistance area. So I usually use different colors to differentiate which time frame support or resistance I'm working on. Okay, so let's move to H4, H1 rather. So now on gold, what I'll be advising those who trade gold is what you wait for the H4 to break. Okay, you wait for H4 to be clear, because mostly when you are relying on gold, if you are not getting confirmation on the high time frames and you are relying on the lower time frames for your entry, it sometimes it's usually fake you out. You get it? It's mostly fake you out. So now the H4 is what? An uptrend. You get it? H4 is an uptrend, daily is an uptrend. So if you either wait for, so the next resistance is going to be at this level. Okay. So you either wait for, it's the same thing that we do. You either wait for a candle to form like this to make sure there has been a shift in what? Structure, maybe at the H1 time frame or M30 time frame. You wait for a shift in structure. So the H1 structure is a downtrend. So you have to make sure the structure you are trading is in alliance with what all the time frames are have. All the time frame has aligned before you make a decision. So at this point, what I'm going to tell you is what you wait for the shift, you wait for a shift in structure, you wait for a shift in structure, then you take what? The buy. That's what I'm advising you to be doing on the H1 time, because H1 is what? A downtrend. This point, high time frames. Your high time frames are saying what? An uptrend. This is an uptrend because H1, H4 candle hasn't broken it yet. You get it? It hasn't broken it yet. So it's still what? It's still a downtrend. Daily is an uptrend. H4 is an uptrend because the structure hasn't broken it yet. So it's still what? An uptrend. When you move to H1, H1 is still what? H1 is still a downtrend. So you have to wait for a shift in structure. You get it? You wait for a shift in structure, something like this. A shift in structure, retested. Okay, maybe something like this. Then you take, then you take what? You take a buy. So that's what I'm expecting on what? On gold. That's what I'm expecting on gold. Even you see, those who trade zone to zone, those who trade support and resistances might even be thinking, oh, this is the time to sell gold. But if you are not careful, you are going to be faked out. So as I said, knowing the direction of the market, as in knowing the trend is very important than knowing the support and resistance areas. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. So you wait for a break, a change in structure. If you are taking an entry on H1 time frame, then you need to wait for a shift in structure. Okay, because now the structure on H1 time frame is a downtrend. So you have to wait for a shift in structure to be in alliance with us or to be in line. You have to wait for a shift in structure. Okay. So that it will be in line with the higher time frame. But at this point, the H1 is what? An uptrend. So even if you are taking a buy, yeah, it's not advisable. Okay, it's not advisable. So that's what I'm waiting for today. That's what I'm waiting for today. So you have to first of all know the time frames you are setting your eyes on. Okay, you know the time frame you are setting your eyes on. Then what? You capitalize on that. That's what usually I do. You know the time frame. You have to first of all. So I used to. So if you don't know the time frame you are focusing on, so those times I used to get confused on. I used to get confused. I used to get confused on what to be doing most of the times when it happens like this. Should I even go? I'll be wondering, should I even start buying? Should I even start buying? But from my try and errors, I got to what understand that focusing on one particular time frame, focusing on one particular time frame for your focusing on one particular time frame for your setup, then maybe if there was no entry, then you move to what? Then you move to the lower time frames for your what? For your entry. So you have to make sure when you're moving to, so it's very simple. After getting, maybe moving to getting to your H4 time frame, sorry, after going to your directional time frame, so your focus on your directional time frame can be the daily time frame. It can be what? The H4 time frame. So after moving to those levels, moving to those time frames, making sure there's a setup, maybe a breakout or maybe a break or retest. Okay. So the H4 time frame can give you a breakout. So I'll make sure I'm preparing some this thing to do a video on. People are been asking me on how to enter. So when it comes to entry, you can get a break and retest setup, you can get a breakout setup. So sometimes if the H4 or maybe daily time frame or weekly, I don't know the higher time frame you're basing on. So maybe if the higher time frame, for instance, something like this has given you it has given you uh if the high time frame has given you a breakout setup. It has given you a breakout setup, something like this. You see, when it gives you something like this is the kind of entry. When it gives you something like this is a breakout. So unless maybe it breaks to this end before what? Before you can take an entry. So which is what? Buying at the middle of a range, which is not advisable. You get it? Which is not advisable to buy in the middle of a range. So when you see something like this at your focus time frame, maybe H4 or daily time frame or weekly time frame, there was no entry. So you need to, so that's what to look for an entry. So when you are moving to the lower time frame, this is what you are going to expect. You are either going to wait for what? So maybe this our focus time frame, or this our bias time frame for the day. This is our bias time frame for the day. Okay. If this is our bias time frame for the day, then when you move to your lower time frame, it can be the lower time frame can be so the lower time frame can be H1, can be M30, can be M15, based on I don't know which time frame you are looking for. Or sometimes to some people's time. So I don't want to when I'm teaching entry, I don't want to even talk about time frame because someone won't agree with the time frame you are saying they should focus on. So when you move to your lower time frames, I don't know the time frame, maybe H1, M30, or M15. This is what if you are seeing this thing, it has broken a resistance, and this is how maybe the daily is doing, the H4 is doing. When you move to your lower time frame, you are either going to wait for what? A break and retest. So maybe this a long candle like this, a long bearish candle like this. When you see a long bearish candle like this, When you move to the lower time frame, you are either going to wait for, so maybe this, let me indicate it well for other people to see it. So maybe this can be your entry time frame. When you move to the entry time frame, so TF means your time frame. When you move to the entry time frame, this is what you are going to wait for. You are either going to wait for, so suppose maybe there was a long bearish candle. Okay, so now we are waiting for an entry. So if you are waiting for an entry, you either wait for a break and retest entry. So something like this. So any system that you are trading, if it fits your lifestyle, you will truly you will surely know. If it fits your lifestyle, you surely know. So you're either going to wait for something like this when a bearish candle forms. Okay, then you tick what? Then you see, so the next candle is going to form at this point. Then you tick what? A buy to this level. You take a buy to this level. Okay, so these are some of the entries that you are going to look for. So when it breaks the bearish candle, then you take a buy. So this is one entry that you look for at the lower time frame. Okay, you wait for a shift in structure, then you take it. Or you have another way. It can form a long bearish candle. So this is one type. So you can have something like this too. You can have something like this. Okay, then this is a bearish. Sorry. So this should be okay. Maybe there's a long bullish candle. Okay, maybe there's a long bullish candle. You wait for what? The bearish closure, the closure of a bearish candle. The closure of a bearish candle. So if you have not given a like on the stream, please kindly do so. If you're on YouTube, kindly give a like on the stream because you're not going to get this information anywhere. So this is a bearish candle, okay. So either wait for, so these are the things that I have in mind, okay. These are the things. So the moment I see it appearing on the chart, I just take it. Then maybe you wait for what? A bullish candle. If you have not given a like, kindly give a like on the stream. Then what? You take the next, you take a buy to the next target. So that's what. So this is also another type of what? Entry. This is also another type of entry. Then you what? You take a buy. I'm coming in hard. This stream is boring. You get it. So this is another type of entry. So usually these are the things that I look for after getting my what? After getting confirmation on the higher time frame. These are the entries that I look for. You get it? These are the entries that I look for. So this one is my what? My bias time frame. When I move to the lower time frame, When I move to the lower time frame, for instance, these are the things that I'm going to wait for. Okay, and we have another one. So this one, for instance, if I move to the H1 time frame, when I move to H1 time frame, this is what I'm going to look for. I'm going to wait for what? A shift in structure. Okay, I'm going to wait for a shift in. So maybe currently it is an uptrend. Sorry, it is a downtrend at H1 time frame. It is a downtrend at H1 time frame. So maybe you'll be seeing something like this. So maybe you see a bullish candle. You can't hear me. Hello? You can't hear me. It's loud and clear too. I like your energy this morning. So you are going to see something like this. You'll be seeing something like this. Okay, so when you move to the lower time frame, so you can see this is what? A downtrend. Okay, this is a downtrend. So if you are moving to your H1 time frame, you have to wait for a shift in structure. So when I talk about shift in structure, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, yeah, you need to wait for a shift in structure. So a shift in structure in this sense, then what? So you see this one, there has been a shift in structure. So it's the same thing that is happening over here. This is what? An uptrend. Okay, this is an uptrend. So when you move to H1, H1 is what? A downtrend. So before you can take a buy on H1, you need to wait for the shift in structure. So this is what I'm talking about. Then you take your entry. The entry will be at this end. Okay, so this will be your entry. This will be your entry. This will be your entry. So this level is going to be your entry. It's the same thing over here. So this level 2 is going to be your entry level. You get it? So usually these are the things that I look for. These are the things that you need to look for, or these are the things that I look for when entering the market. You get it? These are the things. So the next move for this one, then it will move to this side. So you need to train your eyes to be able to be seeing these things. So it's about eye training when it comes to forex. As those this thing, as the bodybuilders are training they are working on their muscles. As a forex trader, you also work on your eyes. So if you don't see clearly, maybe you see uh those optometry, those what's their name self? Is it optometry? You see those people and they will work on your eyes for you. You get it? So you forex trader, you need to train your eyes to be able to see things, to see the pattern. So these are my patterns. So if these things hasn't formed, if it hasn't formed, I'm not going to take any trade. Okay, so the pattern I'm talking about is the same thing that happens yesterday. It's the same thing, but as I'm saying, because of this resistance, that's why I ignored this trade. I would have gotten a winning trade over here. Okay, so this pattern is the same as this one. Okay, so usually or most of the times, these are the things that I look for. So either I'm going to take a trade like this. So on 10th April on GU is the same thing. This thing formed. Okay, let me show you. On 10th April, on 10th April of this year. So I have records of all the trades that I've taken. I don't just take trade, then I'll just be happy and move away from the chart. I learn from all the trades that I've been taking. I learn from them. I sit and watch the April. Okay, so 10th April. Yeah, I've seen it. So if you watch this one carefully, you get it. If you watch it carefully, you can see it's the same thing that I've true. So you guys should watch it. You guys should watch it and you move to the other side and I will talk about it. So you can see it clearly that what is the same thing that happened. It's the same thing. You see, it made a breakaway test. You see, it's the same thing that happened on what I was doing. So is it not the same thing as this one? Is it not the same thing? It's the same pattern. So the patterns are the same every day. The patterns, so the market will just, it's very simple. So most of the times, the most of the times the only problem that causes you to get it causes me, okay, because that's how I trade. The only thing that usually causes me that or that usually affects me of not getting an entry is because of the zones. That's the problem. If not the zone, I would have even getting a trade every day. So this one, for instance, you see, this one, for instance, it broke out, made a retest. What are you expecting? A trade? It formed a support. Is it not the same thing as this one? Very fine. Is it not the same? You guys should watch it well. Is it not the same thing? So from my observation, as I did my observation, I came to the realizations that these are the three things that when I'm finding an entry, this is what happens. Is it not the same thing? You guys should see it for yourself. It's the same thing. You get it? The market, it broke out, made a retested, created a support, then what trend continuation. Is it not the same thing as this one? So trading is all about pattern recognition. If you know one pattern, you can eat from the pattern and what you transfer it to your generations to come. Your generation to come to will also eat from the pattern and what they will transfer it to. Maybe they will bring it to your graveyard. So that's how it works. It's the same pattern every day. So these are my entry setups. When I'm looking for an entry, these are the things that when I move to the lower time frame, so sometimes I can get it on the high time frame. These are the things that I will look for. I sat down and realized that the market does two things. It's whether okay, let me show you something. So today I'm giving you more secrets. I'm giving you more tips and bits. So that's why you need to stick to this channel, okay? You need to stick to this channel because you are learning from an experienced person and the person has been able to use it to pass challenges, problems, and those things. So these are the things you need to be looking for. Trading is very simple. If you have a pattern, it's very simple. Sorry for the delay. I'm going to show you what the market usually does, and you will see it every day in the markets. Okay, so if you have not subscribed to the channel, kindly do so and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you have not given a like on the stream, to kindly do so because I'm about to give you some secrets that will change your life. I would have cleared everything, but because I don't want to clear the analysis. I'm going to show you some secret, some two basic things that the market. Okay, so this how if you move to a support. Okay, if you move to a support, if the market get to a support, these are the two things the market is going to do. The market is either going to what? Break out. It's either going to make a breakout, or it's either going to what? Do a retest. Okay, it's either going to, so that's the only thing that the market does. It's either going to break out. When I talk about breakouts, so maybe if the market is in a bullish trend, you are going to see a bullish candle breaking what? A resistance. A resistance. Okay, so when it breaks a resistance, it is going to tend towards a support. When a resistance is broken, it tends to a support. When a support is broken, it tends to a resistance. So something like this. If the market breaks, so in case maybe you are trading this, okay, let me move it to this end, or maybe let me highlight this place. Okay, so suppose maybe this side is not part. The market is either going to break out. So if it breaks out, are you going to take this entry? You get it? So these are the things that you need to ask yourself. So if the market breaks out, what are the things? What are some of the things that I'm going to factor into consideration in order for me to take an entry? Because if the market makes a breakout like this, if it makes a breakout like this, you can't enter. Okay, you can't enter because it's far from what? Your area of interest, and it's in the middle of a range. If the market has gotten to this side, and maybe your nearest resistance is at this level. If you are buying here, you are buying in the middle of a range. Don't buy at the middle of a range. Anytime that you are buying, make sure it's close to what? It's close to support or resistance, or it's close to a key level. Don't buy when the price is far from a key level. You get it? So if you are buying at this level, it's far from the key level. Sorry, it's far from your entry level, or sorry, it's far from demand or supply. Okay, it's far from, if you are buying at this level, where you have to ask yourself. So anytime you enter a trade, ask yourself, where is it going to be my support? Where is it going to be my stop loss? If you are taking an entry over here, the next zone is at this level. So by all means, this point is going to be your take profit. If your take profit is at this level, ask yourself, how much are you risking? So you are risking like 67 pips, targeting this zone. Get it? It's far from the area of interest. So this is the point when this is a breakout. This is the point you are going to move to your lower time frames to search for an entry. So you're either going to wait for what? A shift in structure. I've even cleared it. A shift in structure like what I did over there. Okay, the market, there was nothing that the market is going to do, nothing different than what I'm showing you based on how I trade. Okay, nothing different than what I'm showing you. So if it breaks out, you go to your lower time frame. Okay, when you go to your lower time frame, if there's maybe if you saw this one at the H4 time frame, and you move to your lower time frame like maybe H1 M30, and they are in a downtrend, you have to make sure what? If they are in a downtrend like this, you have to make sure what? It has shifted to what? An uptrend. Okay, then you take a buy, but you have to know that you are seeking confirmation from what? Sorry, you are moving with what? The higher time frame. That's the H4 time frame. You are moving with it because H4 time frame has given you what? A breakout and close. So that's why those in my private group, that's why sometimes those in the Zoom session or the Telegram session, in the Telegram this thing, that's why sometimes when the market is moving, I don't use H4 for my confirmations and those stuffs. I patiently wait for the H4 to close to give me the confirmation. So when it comes to this move like this, everything that I'm doing is from my experience. Okay, I'll focus on H4, H1 time frame, and it didn't end me well. Okay, so this one like this, I know some people will be taking a buy because it has gotten to what? A key level. because it has got into a strong area of interest, I don't do those things. I'll wait for the H4 candle to close, to settle down, because it might be a fake out and it will come back again. So I know some people, those who trade support and resistances, might think, oh, maybe since you have a strong area of a year, the moment they see a bullish candle, they are going to take a buy. Sometimes you can get a winning trade, but we are talking of at long run, what is going to happen. So for this one, you see how this candle closed exactly on this level. These are the things that I'm not going to make a decision when a candle is ongoing, a candle which is in motion. I'm not going to make a decision on that. So when you watch this one, for instance, you see the H4 really settled. You see H4 really settled on the resistance. H4 candle has really settled on the resistance. You feel me? You see H4 has really settled. These are the things that I want to see at this level. You get it? These are the things that I want to see at this level. So I want the candle to settle down. Okay. I want the H4 candle, because all my decisions that I'm making is I'm focusing on the higher time frames. I make decisions, I focus on or yeah, I make decisions or I focus on the higher time. Sorry for yawning. I just woke up. All my decisions that I'm making, I'm focusing on the higher time frames. You get it? I focus on the higher time frame. So I'll wait for the candle to settle down, not the candle in motion. When the candle settle down, like how it has done over here, okay? So this is a break and retest. So either wait for what? So the market is either going to make a break and retest or a breakout. That's what it usually do. So when I'm waiting for a setup, I'll wait for the H4 candle to close, or the daily candle, based on where I'm making a decision. Okay, based on where I'm making a decision. So if it close, then I'll move towards the lower time frames. Then I'll move to the lower time frames like the H1, the M30. But this candle is in motion. The H4 hasn't given us, the candle needs to close on the area of interest. This is the strong area of interest. This is the strong area of interest. So I will either wait for the candle to settle down on this area of interest. You get it? On this area of interest, then what? So you guys are not giving a like on the stream, eh? Okay, fine. I also know what's up. So I will either wait for the candle to close. Okay, I'll wait for the candle to close. Then what? I'll make a decision. So sometimes, the reason why most of the times I say, uh, what do you call it? Sometimes I say you can get a clear setup, but there will not be an entry. These are the things that I'll be saying, like I'm looking for. Sometimes the market will give you a setup, make a break and retest, but yes, so you will not get an entry. Like what happened on Euro USD, for instance. Even though the setup has aligned, everything has aligned. You get it? Something like this. The setup has really aligned. The setup has aligned. But when you look at your left, we had what? A resistance over here. So that means what? There's no entry. You get it? There's no entry. So if you are patient, the market is not going to give you an entry. You get it? There's no way the way you trade is not going to align. But mostly the reason why we don't usually the reason why we get pressured, or we are in hurry to enter a trade, is because you want to make money fast. If you are going to be patient to wait for the patterns that I've talked about it, there's no way you are going to lose like 3 times or 2 times within a row. There's no way if you are patiently going to. But the patient part is the problem. You get it? So there, you see, as we came to that, when I was doing my analysis this morning, I said what? I don't like relying on the H1. So you see how the H1 dips and tips are breaking. You see, it has broken. So there was high tendency or high chances that it's going to move. But you can see what? A clear, what? Clear area or clear zone over here that price can fill. You get it? There's a clear area here that price can fill. So that's the disadvantage of what? That's the disadvantage of focusing or relying on H1 time frame. So I always be preaching this thing. If you listen, fine. So the way, let me check. Okay. So the way Euro USD is closing, if it's close like that, you might even get an entry over here. You might get an entry. Okay. So this is what I'll be waiting for. I'll be waiting for. So I will be waiting for what? The H4. I'm now waiting for the H4 to close. If it's close and gives me a perfect entry like this, okay, as it is forming like this, I'll what? Take a buy, then target this zone. This is what I'll be waiting for on Euro USD. But first of all, you see, you had what? A resistance. There was resistances over here. So I always advise you don't have to buy on a resistance and sell on a support. That's not the best way to trade the market. Okay, that's not the best way to trade the market. So that's what I'll be expecting on what. So in forex trading, we always come around to hunt. We hunt for trades. Okay, hunting for trades too, you have to be systematic and you have to be patient. Hunting doesn't mean you have to always to be taking it, because the daily time frame is what? An uptrend. Even though the candle structure has broken, so I'll be waiting for. So that's what as I'm saying, I'm waiting for what? This candle to form, like this candle to close bullish, but we have more time. But I'm not going to take an impulse entry. Okay, an impulse entry. So those who yesterday, I don't know if most of you were around. If you were around, I said what I'm going to wait for. So you see, if I rush, suppose maybe if I rush yesterday, I would have lost yesterday. So yesterday I dodged a bullet. Okay, I dodged a bullet yesterday. I wasn't in rush, so you guys should. I wasn't in rush to enter a trade. I wasn't in rush to enter a buy because everything was showing a buy. But later the market came back. So suppose maybe if I entered, my stop loss would have been hit. So that's why I always say you have to be patient. You get it? That's why I always say you have to be patient. Supposing maybe yesterday, if I wasn't patient, I would have lost this trade. This candle would have what stopped me out. But yesterday, I was very patient. I said I'm waiting for the candle to break above this resistance before I would take a buy. Even though it happened later in the day. It happened later in the day. This is where it happened. It happened later in the day. You get it? It's happening later in the day. But I would have been stopped out before it will even get to my target. I would have been stopped out before it will even get to my target. So patience really pays. Patience is golden in this industry. You need to be patient in order to what? Avoid more, in order to avoid this bullet when it is coming to you. So this is what I'm waiting. I'm waiting for this candle to break above this one. So the break is not what? Just break candle which is ongoing or a candle which is in motion. I'm waiting for a break and close. So like how it has done over here, the candle close. When it's closed, because you have a resistance over here. You have another resistance over here. You have another resistance over here. So I usually use different colors to differentiate in case maybe I move to different time frame. It will be very easy for me to what? Know the time frame I'm working on, or to know the time frame I drew the support and resistances on. So that's why usually I use different this thing. So I'm waiting for the candle to close. So we have more time for it to close. I'm not going to be in rush because I'm saying it is going to. So one thing about using different time frames, one thing you have to notice what some of the time frames are not strong, even though the same thing. So the pattern that I even discussed, the pattern that I even drew, some of the patterns what happens is the same pattern that happens in the lower time. When you move to the lower time frame, is the same pattern. Okay, but one thing that sometimes I focus on other time frame as compared to the other time frame, the lower time frame, is that some of the lower time frames are not reliable. Okay, the lower time frames are not reliable. The lower time frame patterns are not reliable, or they are not sustainable. It can easily what be invalidated. Okay, it can easily be invalidated. So that's why I sometimes say what focus on the higher time frame. So that's why I don't focus on the other time frames, and I focus on only what I focused on only the higher time frame. Because one thing you have to notice what those time frames are not reliable. That's the most important thing. Those time frames are not reliable. Okay, this time. So if you're on YouTube and you have any questions related to Forex or anything, you can bring it on board and you can type it in the chat box. So when it comes to the H1, H4, I don't rely unless maybe I've seeked confirmation on what the higher time frames before I'll make a decision on what the lower time frame. That's what usually I do. You get it? That's what usually I do. So not that I just decided to take this time frame for decision making. It's because of what its sustainability, because of how is it reliable enough for me to be making decision on those time frames. Okay, is it reliable enough? So that's what usually we do. That's what we usually do. So now I'm waiting for the way this candle is closing. It's close above this one. It created a support. So one thing that is going to be very difficult is where to get a stop loss. So when you see a long when I see something like this, then this one will push me to move to the lower time frames for in case maybe I get an entry. This easy if I'm using this one for my stop loss, the previous candle, which is going to be very wide. So this one is either going to push me to move to the lower time frames. So it will push me to move to the lower time frame to what find my support and resistances areas. Sorry, to find an to place a stop loss, because using the H4 time frame for your support for your stop loss is going to be very wide. It's going to be very wide. So this one will move me to, so when I see something like when the H4 is not giving me a stop loss, I'll move to H1 time frame, then find a structure level. Even though it is easily to get invalidated, but at this point I'm going to accept the risks. When it happens like that, I'm going to accept the risks. Then what? I'll use the lower time frame, because I know one thing is anytime sometimes when you are making some decision in the forex market, you see you are very comfortable. At sometimes too, you are not comfortable. You are not comfortable because you are not used to doing those things. That's why you are not comfortable. You get it? You are not used to be doing those things. That's why you are not comfortable. So sometimes It's very hard to make decision. It's very difficult with the forex market. No one should lie to you. This game is very difficult, especially if you don't know what you are doing. But for me, it's the only problem I'm having now is maybe I would say sometimes the emotions part. But when it comes to technical, I have found my feet. I have found what works for me, so I don't have problem with that. But the only problem is your emotions, because this thing, there's no way you are going to say you are going to be robots. Being robots, sometimes there's no way you are not going to be emotional when you enter a trade, or when maybe you are in drawdown. Okay, emotions happen. Emotions happen. I'm not a robot. There's money involved, so by all means you feel emotional. But the only way your emotions are going to be to you are going to get rid of your emotions when you are very confident in your setup. Okay, when you are very confident in your setup, it's easily to get rid of emotions. It's easily for you to get rid of emotions. So as I said, I would rather wait for I rather wait for this thing to close. So I know those who trade support and resistances will be taking a buy because it has gotten to a strong area. What's the pips? 12 people most. So I will rather wait for the candle to settle down before I'll make a decision. Okay, I will make a decision. I'm not going to make I'd rather wait for the candle to settle down because still it's in motion. So the my next move will be on Euro USD. So today too I'll be watching Euro USD. I'm watching Euro USD. I want this candle to break above this one. Then I'll take a continuation because this candle just did the liquidity grab. It just made a deep retracement. So what I'm expecting is what I'm waiting for the closure because we have a lot of resistances over here. Okay, there's a lot of resistances over here. So what I'm going to wait for is what I'm going to wait for a breakout. I'm going to wait for a breakout. Then I will enter a buy to this level. I will enter a buy to this level. That's that's what I'm going to wait for. On Euro USD. Okay, on Euro USD. So I think today Euro USD we give. Let me check GU and see because mostly it's kind of it moves together. It moves together, so it has a zone to fill. So it's will either retrace or it will either retrace because the reason why the moment it gets to this side it is bouncing back is what this zone is very strong. This zone is very strong. It's a strong area of interest, but I don't do support and resistances. When it gets to support you, but when it gets to resistances you sell. I don't do those things. You get it? I don't do those things. Settle down before I'll make a decision. before I will make a decision. So the game is about waiting. The game is about waiting. If you can't wait, then you can't be. So I'm waiting for the Euro USD candle to break and close. When it breaks above this one, I'll take a buy. So you see how this zone is very strong. We had also usually when I see something like this, I call it what golden zone. When you have two support and resistances align at a particular point. So I usually call it golden zone. Golden zones. So this one, when you are using Fibonacci, when it aligns on 61.8, we call it golden zone on Fibonacci levels. So those things are all, that's the reason why I stopped using those things. They are all support and resistance areas. You don't have to be learning Fibonacci, psychological levels. They are all support and resistance areas. So this one, if you pull up your Fibonacci tool, the Fibonacci retracement tool, so usually when you pull from, if you are using body, so this is what 100% retracement, 100% Fibonacci retracement. This 100% Fibonacci, 100% Fibonacci retracement level. Okay, and we have 60. So mostly the golden zones are 61 and 0.5 Fibonacci level. They are the golden zones, but they are not necessary. Massa. They are all supports and resistances. So I don't usually use those things. When I started, I used to be using this thing because when you are trading Elliott wave, you by all means use it's part of the rule that you have to use Fibonacci retracement. You have to be using Fibonacci. And those times you used Fibonacci is used for retracement levels, and you have Fibonacci extension. So the Fibonacci extension is for purposely for your for your take profit. So where is the Fibonacci extension? Okay, it's the same thing. So maybe if you want to know where the market is going to move to the next level, Charlie man has learned things. This Forex thing. So usually this, maybe if you are taking, in case maybe you get a trade here, this is going to be your stop loss 1.618 extension, Fibonacci extension level. So that's going to be your, by sometimes you can customize some of the distance. You can customize. So okay, so mostly this is going to be your take profit levels. So you see it is aligned on the supports and resistances on the monthly or the weekly that you do. You get it? You see it is aligned on those levels. It is aligned exactly on those levels. So it is not necessary. Those levels are not necessary anymore. They are all support and resistances. If you get me right, they are all support and resistances level. So the reason why, you see, it is the candle is retracing. The candle is retracing. You get it? So I always prefer to use that. Wait for the higher time frame to settle down. Okay, you wait for it to settle down, then you make a decision. Brainy, how far with your pair that you told me about? Did it go? Did it go in your favor? What's the pair? USDJPY. That pair, that pair. Oh, I've tried it before. Uh, it moves very slow. It didn't give you any entry levels. Yeah, so it's still in a range, right? It's still in a range. So pairs like this, if you are using H1 time frame, you will be losing more most of the time, because the way, yeah, you'll be losing more often if you are using lower time frames. So it's best you use what you use the H4. So you either wait for a breakout. So it's still in a range, so you still have a zone to cover. So you wait for the breakout. You wait for the breakouts. But with this pair there, you can't convince me to go back to it. There's no way you can convince me. USDJ5 very slow. But maybe it will move during the. I started trading this pair with what, AUD USD, with AUD USD. AUD USD too. It's one pair that I really like. It's the way it moves. I really like the pair, but sometimes it will mafia me. Yeah, it moves very slow, but if it is moving, I swear, I like the way it moves, but I stopped trading it. It moves very slow, but you see, it has some correlation with gold, because the Australia is a commodity this thing. AUD and SND, they are all commodity this thing. Commodity pairs. So it moves with the commodity like gold and those. So it's also not giving a clear trend. When AUD is moving in your favor, it's really moved massive. So I was thinking maybe it's going to flip. So I'll still wait. If it flips bullish, if it flips bullish, then, but this candle is making the retracement. This candle is making the retracement. So I'm thinking maybe it will, if it will flip bullish, then I'll take a buy on Euro USD. So Brennan, when did you close the trade at that time? Since you said you were confused on when to close the trade. Yeah, were you able to close the trade, the last week trade? Then you really then oh, but even if you use 0.1, you would have even made some $10. It's still even moving up. So imagine if you held it for that far. Yeah, you close it around where 1.0, 1.30. Okay. Oh, then you also close it. It was too young. You close it early. I was thinking maybe you left it moving. For me, I closed it around this level. You got $15. Okay. I closed it around this level. Then now you have recovered your losses, your previous losses. Or you are still in debt. You have recovered though. So you have to wait for us to be taking trades on the stream or on the this thing in the group. If I post signal, then you take. So if you are executing your own trades too, you can be taking the demo account. You get it too, so that you will not be losing unnecessary. Because now you are still a newbie. You are still not abreast with the movements of the market and when to enter and when not to enter. So you still have to still practice with demo. And when I drop signal or give when I give a signal, then you take it on your live account. That's what is going to make you lose less. So this is the reason why I didn't enter on the lower time frame. Because mostly the lower time frame, so you see, it's supposed to maybe you are trading on support and resistances. If you bought over here, the market is now retracing. The market is now retracing. So you better wait for the H4 to settle down. One thing I've noticed, Euro USD around 2 p.m. it really moves very well from my observation. 2 p.m. it really moves very fast. So this one moved. So okay, maybe this one was a news candle. This was a news candle too. That's what I've noticed about Euro USD. Around 2 p.m. it really moves. So you see this one was 2 p.m. See how it moved. This one was around 12. 2 p.m. it really moves. That's what I've observed about Euro USD. So after being conversant with Euro USD too, I'll search for another pair. The way I'm conversant with GBP USD now, after I'll search for another pair too and add it up. So you have to study the pair for some time before you start taking them. Before you start taking them. So you don't just jump into any pair, because every currency pair, if you are trading forex, every currency pair has its own way of moving. Okay, so you need to study the movement of the pair before. So it doesn't mean every strategy works on every pair. It doesn't. Sometimes some of the pairs, the way it moves and other stuffs, you might be, in case maybe you are using your strategy to trade it, you might be losing most of it. So the best thing you can do is for you to steady the pair. Okay, steady the pair for some time before you start what trading those pairs. You don't just jump into pairs like that. You need to steady the pairs, steady the movement of the pairs, steady the movement of the pairs before you'll be jumping into those pairs. That's the best advice I'm going to give it to you. Don't just jump into pairs. So if I was trying to trade maybe Nasdaq or maybe US 30, the what do you call it? The index. Is it the indices? The indices. You need to first of all study them, because when you are trading Nasdaq, you can't be trading Nasdaq during the lending session, because Nasdaq moves with the stock, the New York Stock Exchange open. Okay, the Nasdaq, the US 30, those indices or those index, you can't be trading them like the lending session. You can't be trading them during the, you are going to, you are going to be losing. Okay, because you are not going to see volume during those times. It moves around the New York Stock Exchange, the New York Stock Exchange open. That's when it moves. So it's always advisable to study the pair you are trading. Know what no, you have to know what drives those pair. What drives those? So if I'm trading Euro USD, I know what with Euro, what drives Euro is what the this thing, the lending session is one factor that drives Euros. You get it? The lending session drives Euros, and maybe any economic events and those things too. Intraday economic events also drives Euros. So you need to understand all those things. You need to factor those things into consideration before you trade any currency of your choice. You can't just jump in and trade any pair just like that. Understand the pair, understand what drives them. So that's why I always those who trade those synthetics and the boom and crash, the step index and those things are all synthetic. So I hope you know synthetic. They are not real. Nothing is what backing it. So if you are trading it, you don't know when exactly. I don't know what time they usually trade them, or you can trade it anytime that you want. So you have to know what drives them. You get it? You have to know what drives them, because nothing is, when exactly does those pair moves. That's what you have to understand. What exactly? For me, I don't know. I don't know when it moves, what exactly drives those pairs. Do they have any fundamentals back in it? It's just a simulation. So trading those pairs, because you don't want to be slave to the market. At least know when it moves and you come to the market. You can't be sitting on your laptop or your desktop all day, all in the name of you are looking for what, a trade. Then what's the reason of becoming a trader? Because you become a trader to become free. You don't become traders to be slaves to the market. Trading should give you freedom. It shouldn't enslave you. So if trading is enslaving you, at the beginning it should enslave you because you need to put in much work. That's fine. At the beginning, it needs to enslave you because to put in you need to put in much work at the initial stage. But when you get your system, it shouldn't enslave you. So sometimes I even forget I even trade because I'm not glued to my I'm not sitting on my desktop every day. Okay, I know exactly when to watch the market. So that's the freedom I'm talking about. You shouldn't be glued every day you are sitting. But at the beginning stage, if don't get me wrong, at the beginning stage, you need to be doing those things. You need to be glued to your desktop or your laptop that you are using. You need to be glued. You need to study the market back to back, back to back. Okay, you need to be glued to the market because you are now figuring out what works for you. You are now figuring out what works for you. So so if you took a buy, it is now retracing. So assuming I took a buy, as a bullish candle confirmed, the moment it moves, it is retracing. You get it? It is retracing. It is not sustainable. Lower time frames are not sustainable. They are there to make you lose money in the market. They are there for you to make lose money in the market. So if you are starting out and you are confused, one advice I will give it to you is consistency is a key to everything. You need to show up every day. Show up every day. That's when you are going to see consistency in the game. But if you're not showing up every day, it's going to be tough for you to find consistency. If within a day you don't check the charts, then trading is not for you. Don't tell me you are busy. That's not an excuse. How many times is it going to take you to check the chart? So consistency is the key in anything that you do. In everything, consistency. Show up every day. You can't be unlucky 365 days. Oh yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't be unlucky. Showing up every day. You see, like anytime that I will come to the market, something new, something new is revealed to me. So this is what I'm waiting for on USD. When it closes bullish like this, I'm going to take a buy. This is what I'll be waiting for. Maybe the closure of the 9 o'clock and so it's left with 2 minutes. I'll wait for the 9 o'clock candle to make a decision. But the stop loss will be something hard. It will be something like it's going to be tough. Placing stop loss is going to, let me check GBP USD. The stop loss is going to be tough. Placing stop loss will be very tough. Placing stop loss in case maybe it flips, unless maybe I move to the lower time. Let me check whether that was a structure. Okay, unless maybe because you have daily, if the M30 makes a structure something like this, consolidates, then I will use, if it gives a consolidation, then I'll use it for my stop loss. The breakouts, then maybe my stop loss will be here, because if I'm using the H4, stop loss is going to be very wide. Stop loss will be very wide. Stop loss will be very wide. Because the target, let me check the target, 31 pips. So it will be more like 1-to-1. So I'm waiting for the flip, then I'll take a buy. So if on YouTube, maybe unfortunately you will not get when you are going to take the trade, because by then I'll be done with the stream, because I'm going to end the stream very soon. But this candle is going to close around 9 o'clock, so we have 59 minutes 15 seconds for it to close. If it closed bullish, you are going to take a buy to target the next level. But the stop loss is a problem now. The stop loss will be the problem. The stop loss will be the problem. So GBP USD. So I can't stress on this thing anymore. That you shouldn't focus. Lower time frames are meant to what? To fuck you up. Hey, YouTube. YouTube will strike this video down. Lower time frames are meant to what? To make you lose. So you see it is coming down. So you would have been a break even. So wait for the higher time frame to settle down. If this one settle down, then you can go to the lower time frames to find an entry. You can go to the lower time frames to find an entry. So all eyes on Euro USD. Let me check out. Gold is doing some skirmishes. So if you are beginner, stay away from zone. This thing, gold. Okay, because your account size can't. Yes, account size can contain. So I can't stress on this thing anymore. Wait for wait for it to settle down. It is in emotion. The candle is in emotion. So you better wait for it to settle down, then you enter. That's the best way to go. Mhm. You wait for it to close. So if it's close like this, if it settle down like how I'm expecting, if it settle down like how I'm expecting, I'll move to the H1 time frame. So if this one close beneath here, we are going to see the H4 to closing beneath here. So when you are moving to the H1, if you are taking an entry on the H1 time frame, you are going to wait for what? A bullish flip. Okay, going to wait for a bullish flip. Then then we take then we take a buy. Okay, so let's hope the H1 let's hope the H1 will settle down over the key level. Okay, over the key level. If we settle down over there, then we will take the next move. But all eyes are on Euro USD. All eyes are on Euro USD flip bullish. If it flips bullish, then we are going to do justice to the pair. We are going to take a buy. I hope you guys understand why I'm saying a buy. Then you take a buy. So I'm very patient trader. I don't rush things. I'm not an aggressive trader. Okay. Yeah. This one has broken it too. This one has broken the This one has broken it. Oh, you didn't see it. This one. I'm saying it's a downtrend because this point, this lower low has been broken. You see, it broke the high. It broke the high. So it has come down and break this one. Oh, you don't see it. This one. Yeah, so it's still an uptrend. You still are you are not certain on your decision. I just confused you and if also buy into my idea. The candle is still ongoing. It hasn't closed unless it's closed before you conclude it's a downtrend. It hasn't closed yet. So since it's in motion, we can still say it's an uptrend unless this candle close. So if this candle, that's what I'm saying, if this candle close bullish, I'm going to take a buy because it has breakout, retested, created a support. Okay, so I'm expecting a trend continuation like this. You were right, but you couldn't defend your answer. So I'm expecting a continuation to that side. You get it? This is what I'm expecting. But before that, I have to wait for the candle to close. Okay. So if it close above this one, you see we are going to have a strong, I call this one golden zone, right? You are going to have a strong what? Going to have a strong support. So that's what I usually advise you to be doing. Trade on what? Strong when you are taking a decision. Make sure you are laying on what? A strong area of interest, the supporting strong area of interest. That's the best thing to be doing. So I'll be waiting for a buy when this one flips because when it flips so we have something called confluence. So with confluence trading, you combine many things to make a decision. So one confluence is confluence trading, meaning what you rely on many tools to make a decision. You have what strong what the reason why I'm going to take a buy strong area of interest. Strong area of interest. And two, what we have candle break above support, candle break above resistance, now 10 support. So candle break above resistance, candle break above resistance. You get it? The time of the day too is another factor. Time of the day. Okay, we have what clean zone to the left. If this one breaks above, we have what you have clean area of interest too. Maybe this point, my target is this point, but maybe this point might be a retracement. Okay, you have strong area of interest. Oh, what I've done is gone. Okay, so they are all confluences that you factor them into consideration to make a decision. You get it? So they are all confluences. You factor them to make a decision. So you have three things. You have area of interest, candle confirming, candle giving us a signal or giving us an indication that it's going to move up. Two, the zone. Three, the time of the day, volume time. Four, okay. Usually when the 9 o'clock candle close, it brings volume in the market. When the 9 o'clock candle close, when the new candle is opening, it's also another way that volume comes into the market. When a candle is closing, it's also another way of bringing volume into the market. Yeah. I'm not getting you. You said what? What's the price? 60 847. Yeah, this side. Yeah. So yeah, this it's my retest on my my focus is on the daily. Okay, maybe the daily will flip, but when it gets to this level, you need to break even. Okay, you need to break even. You need to break even. But it's still in motion, so we can't confirm it yet unless it has closed before you make a decision. Because the daily time frame, you see, anytime a flip like this, let me see whether it has happened before. But the stop loss is a problem now because I don't like the way the H1 candle close. So you see, it created a support. The moment it flipped, it moved up. It created a support, moved up. It created a support, moved up. So exactly what I'm expecting it to create a support, then it will move up. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. So I'll be ending the stream very soon, but we will keep in touch in the. So you guys should keep an eye on this in case maybe I don't see it, then you update us. Okay. So as I'm saying, we are waiting for it to close above this price, 1.1165. Waiting for a break above the price is what? Waiting for the break above 1.11608. I'm waiting for the break above 1.11608. Okay. Then we take a buy. That's what we are waiting for. So if price does not break, you are not taking a buy. If it breaks above, then we take a. You get it. That's what you are expecting. Okay. All right. So you guys should keep an eye. Then we take the buy to the side. You see, this zone is very strong zone. So when if this candle breaks above this one, it's a strong confirmation. You get it. It's a strong confirmation if it breaks above. Let me check GU too. Okay, so GU seems like it wants to. So even GU, okay, even GU, if it's close like this one, we can still take a buy on GU. But one thing is the stop loss. GU creates a support. It creates a support. Okay. Then, but as in uh, the risk to reward, targeting 16 pips. So we still have an opportunity in case this one close bullish. We still have an opportunity, and Euro USD2 is going to be tough for it to break, but let's see what will happen. Okay, let's see what will happen. All right, so you keep in touch in the group. All right, have a nice day, everyone. Thank you all for joining. Hello. Think money is not involved in one, money is involved in another one. That's that's the only difference. So on demo, they are not going to, your brokers are not going to take your money. But on life account, when you lose, they are going to take your hard earned money. So sometimes the H4 won't give you the confirmation. So I even explained it early this morning. I don't know whether you join it early. So sometimes the H4 won't give you the confirmation. So you have to seek for. So this one, for instance, if it breaks like this, you get it. If it breaks, even though structure has been broken, there was a setup. But H4 is not giving you confirmation. So you have to go to the lower time frames to seek for. So you can rewatch the stream again. I talked about it. So you can go to YouTube and watch the stream again. In case you still face any difficulties, then you let me know tomorrow morning. All right. Okay. You're welcome. So have a nice day, everyone. See you in the group. Bye. Okay, YouTube. If you have not liked the stream, kindly give a like to the stream. See you tomorrow. You meet the same time tomorrow. Okay. So see you everyone tomorrow the same time. Thank you all for joining. So